Okay, we're up to Daf Hey Kesuvos. We explained the brisa. We began the sugya of when a woman can get married on a Wednesday. We said Shaktu Chachamim B'nos Yisrael to go ahead and 3 days you get married on a Wednesday that you should have time as Pesulim. If you do, you should go to Bezdin. You wake up and go to Bezdin because you don't want to go ahead and calm down and maybe Mefayasa, because after all she could be usher to you if she had relations with a man during the 12-month period of Erisin to Nisuin, and therefore your Pesula gets married on a Wednesday in order be able to go to Bezdin, which convenes on a Thursday. We asked, what about Sunday? We answered, Shaktu Chachamim, we should have a Suda for 3 days. The Gemara asked, where do we know Shaktu from? The Gemara answered in a long-winded brisa, and we got into two inyanim. One is Sakana inyan and one is Anas inyan. Sakana inyan was that they said the hegmon, that they had to be boiled to the hegmon, and therefore it would lead to sakana because they were Bnei Yisrael that would go ahead and be Moshe Nafsham in that situation, and therefore, so we said that go ahead and move it to Tuesday. Move it to Tuesday, and we said, and if it's a Shas of Oynis, then it's Mutter on Monday. What's Shas Oynis? We gave two pshatim. One, we said that the general's coming to town on a Wednesday, so he's going to take all your food. The Gemara asked, so then go ahead and do it on a Tuesday. Why move it 2 days? The Gemara said because the scouts, the people who come to take care of the food, they're going to come on a Tuesday, so therefore it's mutter to get married on a Monday. Then we said another pshat, which took us yesterday's daf, was an inyan of avelis. If a man lost his father, who usually takes care of the tzarchei suda, or if a woman lost her mother, who usually takes care of her personal needs regarding marriage, in that case, you're permitted to get married on a Monday. You're permitted to get married on a Monday, and that's where we left off at that. So now the Gemara, but along the way in the brisa, we mentioned two things. However, whether there's an honest or not other unhonest, where again we said you can get married on a Wednesday, you can get married on a Tuesday, you can get married on a Monday. Ben kach u'ben you should never get married on a Friday or a Motzei Shabbos. So now the Gemara, Amamar, going back over the brisa to explain those in Yanim. So Amamar, ben kach u'ben lo yival, you should not go ahead and have relations. Leiber the first time, Leiber Shabbos, Leiber Motzei Shabbos.
Where are we starting from?
We're starting from Dalit on the base, 2 lines from the bottom.
Thank you.
Dalit on the base, 2 lines from the bottom. Amamar, ben kach u'ben lo yival, Leiber Shabbos, Leiber Motzei Shabbos. Now Bishleim Erev Shabbos, Mishum Chabura. Bishleim Erev Shabbos because of Chabura. El b'Motzei Shabbos Amayloi. Why can't you do on Motzei Shabbos? So the Gemara wants to know, why can't you go ahead and have the marriage on Friday, the first be on a Friday, and Motzei Shabbos? Why? So Bishleim Motzei Shabbos, so Bishleim Erev Shabbos Mishum Chabura. We'll get into that. Friday Mishum Chabura. We'll get into the second part of the shir. Will be regarding the Hilchos Shabbos aspect of having relations the first time on a Friday night. But Motzei Shabbos and my loy. So Amr Zera Amid Aleph Mishum Cheshbainis. You can't get married on Saturday night because of Cheshbainis. Amalei Abaynis. What's the Cheshbainis? Rashi says, Top Rashi Shem Yichnos LaMotzei Shabbos. If you get married Motzei Shabbos, Yaseh Suda, you're going to go ahead, what? Yaseh Suda, Belayla. You're going to make the Suda at night. V'yachshev b'Shabbos, Mahut Tzarech L'Haitzi. How much the expenditures are. Ukasiv b'David Dover. It says b'David Dover.
Where are we?
Hey, Yom and Aleph. Now the pasuk in Yeshaya says, right? In Tosef Mishabes Vaglacha Ases Chafetzecha B'Yem Kachi V'Karos L'Shabes Oynig Ligdos Hashem Mechuba V'Kibaretoi Me'Ases D'Rochecha Mimtzoi Chefzecha V'Dabe Dover. So what's V'Dabe Dover? This pasuk in Yeshaya Neches is that on Shabbos you should not speak about cheshbonis that have nothing to do with Shabbos. Dabe Dover. Devarim shel choil, you should not speak about a Shabbos. Your conversations on Shabbos should be limited to inyanim kedusha Shabbos. So says the Gemara, the reason why you can't get married on Saturday night on Shabbos is because you'll be so busy with the wedding plans, thinking about the caterer and whatnot. So therefore, you cannot go ahead and get married on Friday night, on Saturday night, Motzei Shabbos. So I'm le'abaya. The cheshbon shel mitzvah miasiri. Is a cheshbon of a mitzvah really not permitted? After all, this is a cheshbon of a mitzvah. It's a cheshbon of a wedding. So the cheshbon of a mitzvah are permitted, as we're going to see right now. One of Chisda, the Rav Chisda, Rav Hamnuna, the Amri Travaya, they're both of the opinion. Cheshbon shel mitzvah muto l'chashbon b'Shabbos. Cheshbon shel mitzvah, you're able to go ahead and meet mechashim and Shabbos, as the Gemara will illustrate. From Rabbi Lazar, for example, poiskin tzedakah la'niyim b'Shabbos. You can allocate tzedakah la'niyim b'Shabbos, and you're making a cheshbon. How much this one gets, how much this one gets. That's a tzedakah is a mitzvah. You could do that on Shabbos. Again, it doesn't mean you can give the tzedakah on Shabbos. It means you can allocate who's going to get what after Shabbos. And the Rabbi Yochanan, halchin lebet knisas lebet midrashiyos. You ever go to the shuls and to the yeshivas? The pakeach al iskei rabbim b'Shabbos, in order to go ahead and be pakeach, to go ahead and look into regarding the inyanim of Shabbos that's necessary. That's inyanim rabbim on Shabbos. Since it's a tzorchei rabbim, it's permitted. For another example of cheshbonis of mitzvah that are permitted on Shabbos, Rabbi Yitzchak bar Idi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, mefachin pikuach nefesh b'Shabbos. You can go ahead and publicize the need for pikuach nefesh on Shabbos. Lav dafka Shabbos. Some people are not garbage this because it has nothing to do with Shabbos. Pikuach nefesh is permitted all the time, but nonetheless, it's a very viable reason. From Rabbi Yochanan, another example of from Rav Shmuel by Nachmani, Rabbi Yonason, holchin l'tatiyos l'karkiyos. You go to the theaters and the circuses, which were meeting places, the pakeach aliskei rabbim b'Shabbos, and they use these places to act not only for sports but for public gatherings. Right? We use the Metro Stadium, whatever, the Giant Stadium, which of course is not Jet Stadium because the Jets can't have their own stadium, right? But nonetheless, they could use it for Inyani mitzvahs. Anyway, the bottom line is another example. You go ahead and read Shidduchim and Shabbos. You can go ahead and contract out with a person to teach your child Torah, or to teach him a craft. All these cheshbonos are permitted for Shabbos. So you can't tell me the reason that a person can't get married to Shabbos is going to be making cheshbonos of the Suda. That's not going to wash. That can't possibly be the reason. So the kasha comes back. What are you talking about? Why can't, in fact, you can't get married on Saturday night on Motzei Shabbos? Ella lashon charata amrav zera gezera shema yishchet benoif. We got now. Here's the problem. You got a Suda. The cheshbon of a Suda is one thing. What about the preparation of the Suda? What about you're going to go ahead and shech the benoif? Maybe you're going to shech the chicken, and you don't have enough food, so you're going to go ahead and shech, or you're going to make the caterer. You're going to be busy with this. So that's what we're worried. The gezerah. The reason why you can't get married in Motzei Shabbos is the gezerah because of what Shem Yishchet Benoif. Amalei Abaya Elamiyata Yom Kippurim Shechal Yos B'Sheni B'Shabbos. And we know there's a mitzvah, fellas, to eat erev Yom Kippur. The day before Yom Kippur, there's a mitzvah to eat. It's a mitzvah, right? It says you fast 2 days. How you can't fast 2 days? It says anyone who goes ahead and eats the first day, right? It's like you fasted 2 days. So it's a mitzvah. So let's say if Monday is what? If Monday is Yom Kippur, that means Sunday is a mitzvah to eat. So aren't we worried that you may go ahead and shecht on Shabbos for your Suda on Sunday? Once you're concerned about a mitzvah following Shabbos that you may come to go ahead and shecht, such as a wedding on Motzei Shabbos, why aren't we worried you may come to go ahead and prepare your Suda for Sunday on Shabbos? So what should you do? So Yidche, you should push off Yom Kippur to Tuesday. You should push off Yom Kippur to Tuesday. You'll say, how can you push off Yom Kippur? We had a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, guys. Yom Kippur never follows Shabbos, right? Yom Kippur can't fall out after Shabbos. We gave 2 reasons. Either because of dead bodies, they may putrefy because you won't be able to bury them, or because of your vegetables wilting. So you see that you would push off the Yom Kippur. So it's not a strange idea to push off Yom Kippur. That's the Ritva, to explain Rashi, why Rashi says you can push off Yom Kippur to Tuesday. So in other words, if your reason is because of that you can't get married Motzei Shabbos, is because you're worried about a shechita, then if Yom Kippur falls out on a Monday, you should push it off for the same reason. The Gemara will give a few differences. Says the Gemara, so one difference. When it comes to Yom Kippur, it's not a communal event, it's a personal event. It's only for yourself. For yourself, you're not going to come to Shech. When it's a Rabbim, there's a multitude of people, there's a Cheshbon, you may think of others, you may be concerned there won't be enough food, then there's the concern you may come to Shech. Masha came when it's individually, just for yourself, you're not worried. That's one chilik between getting married Motzei Shabbos and Yom Kippur falling out on a Monday. Inami, Hasam Islay Ravcha. Over there, when Yom Kippur falls out, there is a time period where you can go ahead and shecht. What are you going to do? When are we supposed to eat? I'm supposed to eat on Sunday. Good? I'm supposed to eat on Sunday? So I'm supposed to eat on Sunday. I'm not going to come to shecht on Monday, on Shabbos. I'll wait till Sunday to shecht because I have the whole day to eat. Masha Enkein, if the Suda is going to transpire, take place on Motzei Shabbos, and I don't have any time, I don't have any Ravcha, I don't have any time, then you may come to shecht. So that's the chilik between Motzei Shabbos, getting married on Motzei Shabbos that we're worried Shem Yishchet Benoif versus what on Yom Kippur falling out on a Monday where we're not worried. Hacha Leslie Ravcha. Over here, when it comes to Motzei Shabbos, no Ravcha. So therefore now you have what? You have two chaluk in between getting married and Yom Kippur. Getting married on Motzei Shabbos, you're worried Shem Yishchet Benoif. Having Yom Kippur on Monday, why aren't you worried about preparing for Sunday? Two reasons. One, for it's individually, you're not going to work individually. A person doesn't have to go ahead and shech, and or else there you still have a time frame where you possibly can go ahead and shech. Since you have a time frame you could shech, you have Sunday that you could shech, then it will be okay. Mashen came where Motzei Shabbos is the Suda. You don't have a time frame. You're worried you're going to shecht on Shabbos. Those are two chalukim. The Gemara concludes, Hashta da'asus lahachi. Now that you arrived at this chilik, erev Shabbos nami. The reason you can't get married on a Friday, you can't is gezeir shema yishchait ben oif. The Suda, guys, what's going to happen? You get married on Friday. The Suda is going to take place on Leil Shabbos, Friday night. What happens if you don't have enough food for the people that are gathered? You may come to shecht. Okay, you may come to shecht. So we just given an additional reason why you can't get married on Friday night, right? One, the first reason was a chabura, a din in Hilchos Shabbos, you may come to Mechalel Shabbos. Or two, a gezerah derabbanan digadin, that maybe you may come to go ahead and you won't have enough food. You might come to shecht on Shabbos on Friday for the food. The Ritva speaks out beautifully. This reason is necessary for an almana. We said you shouldn't get married right on it. You shouldn't go, right? You don't get married on Friday. That would only apply to Basula, the first reason. But an almana who's a Ba'ula, she's not a virgin, then you would be able to get married Friday. But if the reason is als the party, you're going to party for an almana the same way you're going to party for a Basula, and therefore you'd have that concern. So this would answer up why an almana can't get married on a Friday.
As a practical matter, if the suit is Friday night, as you see they're out of food, between shechting and kashering and cooking, you're afraid that you're going to start preparing when you see Friday night the suit is? How long? The time frame doesn't sound right.
Again, let's say you have a suda, and I think that's the reason they said a ben oif. It could be an oif. I was wondering why they say ben oif, why not just stam shchita?
Because the process is a lot quicker.
Right. Yes. So that's I think that's the answer to your question. Right, the process will be a lot quicker. Okay, now now we get back to the din of exactly that we began in Masechta. When we say you get married on a Wednesday, when does the actual marital relation take place? Does it take place Wednesday by day, or does it take place by Wednesday by night or Thursday morning? Right? The Jewish calendar, we begin Thursday night before. Now, usually we say that a person is not permitted to have relations during the day. That's provided it's not dark enough, right? If it's dark enough, or you put a talus around you, you cover your eyes. In other words, then it is permitted. So there is a heterim for having relations during the day. Okay, so now what's the shot? Hesh, we're up to Heyam and Aleph. You look at the Taisus Elamiyati Yom Kippurim and go down a few lines. Iboilahu. Besula nisas b'revi'i. V'niveles b'revi'i, right? That a basula, she gets married on a Wednesday, and she has relations on a Wednesday. V'loy chashina lekruei daita, and again, if she has relations on a Wednesday, and he doesn't find basulim, that leaves a bigger time span between the relations and Bezdin for him to cool off. So they were not worried that, in other words, the extension of time, he might cool off and not bring it to Bezdin. Dilma, no, we are worried about him cooling off. And therefore, Basulas Nisas, a Basula would go ahead, and Nisas Ravi gets married on the Wednesday. However, Venivelas B'chamishi, she has relations on Thursday. On Thursday. Why? Because we are worried about what? Her cooling off. That's the shaila. When does the actual bia take place? Does it take place on a Wednesday? We know that the chasana takes place on a Wednesday. The relations take place on a Wednesday, or take place on Thursday. And the shaila is predicated upon the expanse of time, the difference between what? Between Wednesday and Thursday. Even though it's zman purta, even though it's a very, very small period of time, that's the shaila here. Says the Gemara. What says the Gemara? Toshma, the Tani Bar Kapara, Besula Nisas Bervi, a Besula gets married on a Wednesday, Benevalis Bechamishi, and relations take place at night on Thursday. Hoyel Venemraba Bracha Ledogim, since it says a Bracha Ledogim. When the Torah when Hashem created the world, so on day number 1 he created light, day number 2 he created Rakia, day number 3 the dry land and the water, day number 4 the sun and the moon, day number 5 he created the birds and the fish. And what did he say? Peru urvu milu esaret. So he gave the bracha to fish on day number 5. Day number 6 he created other animals, and by Adam animals it doesn't say a bracha. See the Rabban in the Chumash, but day number 6 it does say a bracha to Adam. So Peru urvu is given to fish on day number 5. And on day number 6, we have a bracha given to Adam. So now, it says over here, what's the reason that the relations takes place on Thursday night? Because Thursday is day number 5. Day number 5, there was a bracha of Peru Revu. Hayav nema bracha de ledagim. Almana nisas b'chamishi. An almana gets married on Thursday. V'nevalis b'shishi, and she has relations on Friday, meaning a Thursday night, Friday morning. Hayav nema by bracha la'adam. So therefore, Taima, the reason why they have relations at this time, Mishum Bracha, it's because we want the Bracha of Pru Revu to be Chal. Aval Mishum Ikrui Daita, Loi Chashina. So therefore, Ikrui Daita, we're not Chayish for. Meaning, so let's say the person, for whatever reason, does not want the Bracha, was not concerned with the Bracha, he would be permitted to live with his wife on Wednesday. Because again, we see the Bakapar is stressing the reason why we do it at night is for the bracha, not for the fact that he may cool off and not come to Bezdin. Right? That's not the reason. So let's be patient the shaila that a man could, in fact, get married on a Wednesday and live with his wife on a Wednesday. Okay, that's the case. So almana, why does she have relations Friday morning? Let her have relations Thursday night because you have the bracha of dagim. Says the Gemara, the bracha given to Adam, Pruavu, is adif than the bracha given to fish. Vinami mishum, another reason, shaktu. Another reason that Almana has relations on Friday morning rather than Thursday night is because of shaktu. Now this is a different shaktu. Shaktu, we said, was the Chachamim were machmir, they were careful to take care of the basula. She wanted that the husband would be with her. Would be with her. So to over here, the Tanya. Why does she have relations Friday morning? If you're going to say Thursday, so Lamachar on Friday he'll get up and Mashkim Lamnasa he'll go to work for Hoylech. So what did they do? Shaktu Chacham Mal Tekanis B'nai Yisrael She'Sameach Imash L'Shayamim Chamishi B'Shabbos Thursday. Now, if the relations takes place Friday morning, Chibas Bia, he won't go to work on Friday. If the relation takes place Thursday, then he'll go to work Friday. If the relations takes place on Friday, Chibas Bia, he won't go to work on Friday. So therefore, they were makbid to have the Bia take place on Friday in order to facilitate that I'm not going to work. So therefore, Shatu the Erev Shabbos, the Shabbos are 3 days together. Okay. Now, my ikabein bracha l'shaktu. What would the difference be between the reason why you get married on a Friday? You have 2 reasons. One, the bracha of Adam was on a Friday. Two, by Friday you're not going to work. What would the nafkamina be between the two terutzim? Why an almana has relation, gets married on Thursday and the relation's Friday morning? It can be nayu Adam batal. Guys, let's say he doesn't go to work. He's a batal. This guy's not working. So if he's not working, she can get married on a Thursday. She can get married on a Thursday, right? Not only can she get married on a Thursday, you can have relations on Thursday. Why? You don't have to worry about him going to work. He's not going to work. But if it's also the bracha, you can have relations till Friday because you want the bracha of Adam. Again, one more time. We gave two reasons why the bia takes place on Friday morning. One, that he should stay with her, not go to work on Friday. And two, the bracha of Adam was given on Friday. My nafkamina, let's say he's a person who doesn't have a job. So if he doesn't have a job, the relation could take place on Thursday because he's not leaving her anyway. But if it's als bracha, then what? The bracha is given on Friday morning. So therefore, or else, inami, Yom Tov shechali is Erev Shabbos. Let's say Yom Tov falls out on Erev Shabbos. No one's going to work. So therefore, you could have relations on Thursday, if not for the fact that you want the bracha of Friday morning, because that's the bracha's Adam. So that would be the nafkamina. Now, since we're discussing Bar Kapara, we bring him in. The Gemara brings in some very, very interesting agadata. Very interesting agadata, well known, ones that what people remember. We'll see. Guys, you remember any of you guys remember this? Putting the ears like this? That you're supposed to take your things, right? If you remember that, it's from this Gemara. Somewhere along the line, you remember that, it's from this Gemara. Dorish Bar Kapara. The work of tzaddikim creating, let's say, the Beis Hamikdash is greater than the Kadosh Baruch Hu creating Shemayim Ba'aretz. Why is that? When it says regarding Hashem creating the world, it says Af Yodi, my hand. That's the key word. My hand, singular. Yosta Aretz. It founded the world. Vimini, and my right hand, Tifcha Shemayim, measured out the Shemayim. So when it says that it's mashma that the world was created with one hand. The ilu b'maisi yedayim shel tzaddikim k'sev, but concerning the tzaddikim, why does it say the maisi tzaddikim? It says machayin l'shiftecha pa'alta Hashem mikdash ad Hashem koinenu yadecha. The foundation of where you live, Hashem, that was made by your hands. Mashma the hands of the tzaddikim were made to Beis Hamikdash. So you have. By Hashem, by Shishmaim, it says one hand. By the Binyan Bayis, it says two. So the greater is the Maisa Tzadikim, the hands of Tzadikim, than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Heishav Bavli Yechad, Rabbi Chia Shemo. Rabbi Chia said, it says, V'yabeshes Yadav Yitzaru, the dry land, Yadav, his hands, right? Yitzaru, it created. So l'chayra, you see, it says Yadav by HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. Says the Gemara, Yadai Ksiv. Don't read it. It's missing the Yud. It's not his hands. It's Yadai, his hand. It's missing the Yud. So therefore, it's consistent. Hashem created with one hand. Ayva Ksiv Yatsaru. They, mashma, two hands, went ahead and made it. Says the Gemara, Yatsu, it's not going on his hands, but it's Baisa. The plural is going on the one hand. There's a plural. In one hand, you have multiple fingers, guys. Since you have multiple fingers, it's going on that. But Einachinami, he only used one hand. Meisive, Fred Gemara says, why? It says, Kedichsiv, ki ere shamecha, maise etzbosecha. I looked at Shemayim, the maise of your fingers. The moon and the stars that you put in its place. So you see that what? That it's going on etzbecha, your fingers. Meisive, on this whole Shiloh. On this whole drasha bakapara, Hashemayim Mesaprim Kavod Kel. The Shemayim speaks about Kadosh Baruch Hu's glory. Umaisa Yadav Magid Rakia, and the workings of his hands. The Rakia talks out. So you see that the Rakia Maisa Yadav, his hands. So Hachikama, no, that Maisa Yadav is not going on what the creator Shemayim Ba'aretz. It's going on Tzadikim. Maisa Yedayim Shel Tzadikim Imagid. Who says the Maisa Tzadikim, the Harakia. The Rakia is the testimony, Rashi explains, of the Maisa of Tzadikim. How does it do that? By Matar. Tzadikim daven, and they're able to go ahead and bring rain. So Maisa Rakia, Maisa, your hands, is going forward through the Tzadikim who daven, and it comes down. But Einachinami, Hashem created the world with one hand. Darish bakapara. So now, since we're dashing bakapara, we have another drasha. My dichsiv, the pasuk says, "V'yased tiye al azeinecha." The pasuk says, "V'yased tiye lecha azeinecha, v'oye b'shiftecha chutz v'chavarta bo v'shat v'chisa etzeyasecha." This pasuk is describing when they go outside the camp, they would have some type of tool, or some type of implement. They would go ahead and cover the tsoya. They would cover the tsoya. We asked a fantastic question. I thought they ate mun, and the mun was absorbing them. So since the mun was absorbing them, there wasn't any tsoya, there wasn't any feces. So why would you need an instrument to go ahead and cover the feces? So he answered two things. We said anyone who got it by complaining, if you got it complaining, then they have to go to the bathroom. In addition, we said they used to buy food from the merchants that would come there. There were merchants that would appear there, and therefore that food they bought from the merchants, they'd be tsoya. That's what we explained in the Septa. I think. Anyway, so my dichsiv v'yasei tielcha azeinecha al tikri azeinecha. Don't say azeinecha, which is what is ella al oiznecha, meaning your ears. Azeinecha would mean your weapons, and oiznecha means your ears. That means that the yaseid is a weapon besides it's for your ears. Shem yishma adam dava sheina hagin. If a person hears something that is not proper, what should he do? Right? Yaniach etzboi beisnav. Take his hands, which are thin. Like this, it seems to me. I used to touch the yaseid as a shovel. It doesn't work. Shovel is too much to put in your ear. The art school touched it as a spike, some type of loose thing that you go like this. You would go ahead and loosen up the earth. So therefore, if it's spike, you're able to go ahead and put it in your ears. Why are they similar to Yeseides? Why are they similar to spikes? So when it says, my timer, that's a double pashut, guys. And what are you going to say? That they're separate? If they were webbed together, you couldn't stick it in your ear. As a matter of fact, it says before Noach, guys, the people had webbed fingers. It's only by Mes Noach that the fingers became unwebbed. It's a Mefurish Torah card. I know it from Yitzi's Torah cards. It's a medrash. That's what I don't know why I remember it, but so they used to dig with their hands till Noach came along and created a plow. So it seems that then their fingers separated. But anyway, l'chol hapachas. So you have separate fingers. So why do you have separate fingers? That mechalkan, the kol chada v'chada, the mosayu avida. Each one has a purpose. What's the purpose? Let's start from the smallest finger. Zeres. This is the zeres. The amamar, right? That they use the zeres to measure the choshen of the kohen gadol. Zeres, guys. The zeres is this. It's a half a tefach. It's from here to here, and they would measure the zeres. So that's what the zeres is used for. Su kamitza. This one, the ring finger, guys, is used for kamitza. Kamitza was done like this. Kamitza by a carbon mincha. They would separate the flour. So what would they do? They'd put their hands in like this. They would go like this and like this, and this would hold it. So the bottom finger is the this is the zeres, and this is the kamitza. The middle finger, zu ama. The middle finger is, you measure an amma, guys, from your tip, from the elbow, the tip of your middle finger. That's an amma. That's the measurement of an amma, between 18 inches and 24 inches. And zu etzba, this was used for the carbon, for sprinkling. They would sprinkle the dam of the carbon. And the goydel, guys, the thumb was used for the kohen by Aaron when he became a kohen, and by Mitzayra. The Mitzayra we spoke about having shemen and blood put on his finger. So what are you telling me that the fingers why did Hashem make the fingers the mechalkan? There's a reason for each one of them. I just gave you 5 reasons each per finger, one per finger. So the Gemara explains what was really Rebbe Loz's question. Why are they thin? Why are they tapered like you say this? That means if a person hears something that is not correct to hear, he should take his fingers and put it in his ears. Something that's similar. Why is the cartilage of the ear hard? However, the earlobe is soft. What's the reason? If a person hears some lashon hara, something you shouldn't hear, he's able to go ahead and take this and insert it in his ear. Fascinating. A person shouldn't let his ears hear devarim b'telim, because when one comes to Gehenim, since they're very soft, the first thing that's going to be burnt, is the person's ears. Is the person's ears. So that ends the sugya and the explanation of the brisa. Okay, now in the brisa we said 2 reasons why a person should not get married on Friday. 1, that it makes the chabura, and 2, because of the bracha. They should have what did I say?
Preparation.
Preparation. Preparation. Right, you may come to shech, right? Preparation. Now, what's this thing making chabura? So now the reason why Kesuvos is called shas cotton is because you bring in a conglomerate of all over different things. So right here, Masechta Kesuvos, which is ostensibly discussing in Yoni Ishos, the things dealing with women, comes a major sugya in Masechta Shabbos. All of a sudden, we just jumped to Masechta Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah by the next daf into Masechta Shabbos. So derech hakdama, there is a famous machlokes throughout Masechta Shabbos between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda by Dava Shein Miskaven. If a person takes a bench, he wants to move it from point A to point B. He takes the bench and he moves it along. The bench makes grooves in the ground. It's going ahead, it's making grooves in the ground, right? Can he move the bench? Dava Shein Miskaven, he's not miskaven to make the grooves, which would be a tolda perhaps of baina. If it's in the field, it's chayrish. I guess in the house, it's baina, right? You can go ahead. Well, that's be mashva gumais. This maybe is making furrows. It's zareya, told of zareya. Anyway, so the chayra is he's being over in Issa, or no? Do we say Dava Shein Miskaven? He wasn't miskaven for that. All he wanted was to get the bench from point A to point B. That should be permitted. Okay, that's the machlok. It says Rabbi Yehuda, Dava Shein Miskaven is aser. You can't move the bench. Says Rabbi Shimon, you could move the bench. 2 addendums. 1, the idea of psik resha. So how could you move the bench? If automatically it's going to go ahead and create a ditch, how can you do it? It's inevitable. So even the miskaven lekach, it's considered as if it's there. In other words, I can't avoid it. It's unavoidable. So even if it's unavoidable, why do I care about my kavana? It's going to be done automatically. That's called in the vernacular psik resha, cutting off the head. It's a very funny lashon. Psik resha v'lo. If you cut off the head of a chicken, won't it die? If I move the bench, won't it automatically make what? A row? So even Rabbi Shimon will be moided by psik resha that it will be asa. Okay, so one machlokes with an addendum. It has to be that the person would have been able to pick up the bench, which would make it not a psik resha. In other words, I could have avoided making the chritz because I could have picked up the bench. So let's say you're moving a chair. That would be okay because you can pick up the chair. Let's say you're moving this heavy table that it's unavoidable. Even Reb Shimon would say it's not good. Now, even according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says that Dava Shein Miskaven is aser, if it's mekalkal, if the act that comes out is a destructive act rather than a positive act, a building act, he would also say it's mutter. So you have, and Rabbi Shimon says that Dava Shein Miskaven, a kilkel is mutter except 2 places. By chayvel and mavir, if you're going to go ahead and hurt somebody, make a chavala in somebody, or you're going to go ahead and burn something, even if it's mekalkal, it would be asa. So you really have 1 din with 2, actually 3. No, let's go through the din again. Dava Shein Miskaven says moving the bench, says Reb Yehuda is no good, says Reb Shimon is good. In Reb Shimon, it's only good if it's not a psik resha, if it's not unavoidable. If it's unavoidable, then what? Then even Reb Shimon would be say it's no good. And even Reb Yehuda, who says Dava Shein Miskaven is aser, that's provided the act that is coming about is a positive act. If it's an act of kilkel, if it's a destructive act, then what? Then it would be mutter according to Rabbi Yehuda. With that hakdama, let's begin. Here's the shaila. You're telling me you can't go ahead and have relations the first night because you're going to go ahead and make a chabura. Okay, so chabura would be machlokes, most of the Rishonim, netilas neshama. when you extract blood from somebody, it's like netilas neshama. It's a told of shchita. Shchita is netilas neshama. It's a Rashi, whether it's Seibeya, you're coloring or not. Okay, netilas neshama. That would be the Isser. If I make a chabura and I take out blood, it's like the av malacha that you're over on Shabbos is netilas neshama. Good. Is it for sure or not? It depends on how do you view the blood. Do you view the blood as mifkat pakid, or do you view the blood as chabure michbar? What does that mean? What does that mean? Where is the blood? Behind the hymen, behind the basulim. Is it considered like it's gathered there? And by opening up, I'm just letting it out, so I didn't make a chabura? Well, no, it's absorbed in the walls of the rechem, of the canal, the vaginal canal. And when I go ahead and rip the basulim, it's making a chabura. If it's mifkat pocket, there's a tzad, it should be mutter. If it's chaburi michbar, pashtus should be aser. Now, if Meir Asher is going to ask, isn't it a machloikas in mitzias, right? Isn't it a machloikas in mitzias where the dam is? Is the dam, is it collected there, or if it's absorbed, can't we physically go ask a doctor and figure it out? Says the Chassam Sofer beautifully. No one holds that the dam is like in a bottle with a stopper on it, and when you take the stopper out, the blood's going to come dripping out. Everyone holds it's absorbed. The question is it absorbed in a normal way or not? The Chassam Sofer gives an example of a sfug, guys, a sponge. You have a liquid in a sponge would be different than the blood in your finger, right? The blood in the sponge, you just squeeze it, it comes right out. Masha'en kain, if it's in your finger, you're making a chabura, it's the chabura that makes the blood. So that's the shaila. It's like a middle level. It's not mamish like a liquid, but it's mamish not liquid totally absorbed. How do you view it? Do you view it as a liquid and there shouldn't be okay, or do you view it as totally absorbed and it won't be okay? The Chassam Sofer creates a mitzias of understanding this, what the Gemara shaila was. That it wasn't so pashut, and that would answer Meir Asher's kasha. So let's see the Gemara inside. We won't see this teretz today. We'll see the studim to the shaila based upon my hakdama. Tarabanan. Iboilu. Mahu libol betchila b'Shabbos. Now, what kind of question is that? I'm asking, what's the din of having be on Shabbos? We had a brisa saying you can't, right? We had a brisa saying you can't. So Rashi and Taisus, let's do Taisus, because Taisus is a little more expansive. Second Taisus. Mahu libol betchila b'Shabbos. Af al gad. So what's the shaila? You have to get married on a Wednesday, so it's a moot point. You're never going to have a basula getting married on a Friday. So what are you asking the kasha for? Let's say, in fact, it happened for whatever reason. He couldn't have the relations on Thursday night, and therefore he has to wait a day. They didn't expect him to wait till Thursday of the next week, right? You're supposed to get married on Wednesday, have relations Thursday morning, correct? So if for whatever reason it didn't happen Thursday morning, so when it's going to happen next? It's going to happen Friday night, the next night. So therefore, why no one expects him to wait another week. So Tosis is explaining how the mitzias of this question would come about. For whatever reason, he couldn't do it Thursday night. What about Friday night? So do we say that what? Therefore, now, we said before in a brisa, no. That you separate the chassid from the kala Friday night, if for whatever reason, if they shehu oisa chabura, right? So l'chayra, it said openly. So what's the amaraya shaila? What's the shaila? In other words, it says openly you're making a chabura. So what's your shaila? There's no shaila mifkat pocket. There's no shaila that it's not chabura. We have a brisa. So what's the amaraya asking? The Tanya Nami Beidach Brisa, Benkach, whether it's an Einus or not an Einus, that's how we began to share today. Lo Yivol, Lo Be'erev Shabbos, Lo Mitzvah Shabbos. So l'chayra, what's the shaila? So Pirish B'Kuntris, B'Lehavi Yadallah. The Amoroyim who asked the shaila were unaware of the brisa. They didn't hear everything. They didn't hear the brisa, so they asked the shaila. Inami or else Yoda law, they taka knew it. Uboy helchi hilchasa the ikka leme hechi hilchasa. What's the halacha? The ikka leme the pligi bar of Yehuda Rav Shimon. Because what? It's possible that they argue. So there's two ways, guys, to learn pshat over here in the Gemara Shaila. In other words, before we begin the etzem shaila, right? Let's go ahead and before the shaila, one. The Chayra, the Gemara was paishet to Shaila. It said, don't get married on Friday night because of Chabura. So one, they never saw it. Or two, they want to know whether the halacha, they did see it, but they want to know whether the halacha is like that or not. So that was now we'll get into the Shaila. But in other words, that was prefaced why it was a Shaila. Okay, so now let's get into the Shaila. Iboilu, Nachamo. Iboilu. How do you view this? Dam mifkad pakid, or chaburi michbar. Again, if it's mifkad pocket, it's going to be mutter. If it's kaburi michvar, it's going to be asa. Right now, what is that's natilas neshama. Vim tim solema mifkad pocket. Now, guys, if it's mifkad pocket and you're not making a chabura, so now there's two ways to go. You're telling me it's mutter. Why? Do we say the following? The dam utzarich. He needs the dam. The dam utzarich b'shari. Why would he need the dam, guys? He would need the dam either one to prove that she's not a prove that she's a basula, or two that she shouldn't get dirty. Her dirty shouldn't get dirty in future bias. So that's why you would need the dam. You need the dam out now. The dam basulim is a one-shot deal, so you want to get rid of it now, or you want the dam basulim. Now, if you need the dam, then it will be permitted. Dilma lepesachut sarich. Maybe he needs the opening for future bias. Now, if that's the case, the usher, that would be a tolda of boine. He'd be building. It's shaykh building in human beings, guys. Listen to the shaila. In other words, look at me. Two shailas. If chaburi michbar, if it's making a chabura, then it's mashma. Everyone would hold it's usher. Pashtas, because why? It's natilas neshama. Mashma, if it's mifkad pocket, meaning it's not totally absorbed, you're not considered making a chabura, then it'd be permitted. Well, 1 second, that depends. If it's that I need the dam, then you're right. That will be fine. But if it's because I want the Pesach, then my action is usher. I'm doing something that's usher on Shabbos. What am I doing? I'm building. So even the tzad of mifkad pocket, there's a tzad that it's usher. It's not either or. Even in the or, there's a tzad of or. Even in the tzad that it's not making chabura, there's still a possibility to be asar. It might be baina if you need the pesach and not the blood. That's what the Gemara shaila is. And the Gemara continues. Now, the imtim saloymar ledamut sarich, and even according to the tzad fellas, that it's for the dam, and therefore it's not baina, and it's not natilas neshama. Why? It's not natilas neshama because it's not chabura michbar. You're not making a chabura. And it's not boina because you don't need the Pesach, right? And you only need the dam. I still have a tzad that it should be also. What's that tzad? And the Pesach happens automatically. Hilchasa Reb Shimon, the Omar Davashe Miskavin Muta. In other words, I was miskavin for what? For the dam, which is okay. I wanted to get the bench from one side to the other. Along the way, I made a hole. I made a hole in the ground. Along the way, I built a hole in the woman. Okay? In other words, that's exactly the case, right? Exactly the case. I need the dam, which is okay. I need to move the bench to one side. But by moving the bench to one side, I made a hole in the ground. By getting the dam, I made a Pesach. So even like that side, if the halacha is like Reb Shimon, I'm okay. However, or even then, so there's a tzad, you hear this? I was miskaven for the blood, but I wasn't miskaven for the Pesach. Now you have to ask the kasha. Remember in our hakdama, if Reb Shimon is moided by psik reisha, if it's inevitable, then he also held it tzasar. So how would it be mutter over here? Isn't it inevitable that the blood's going to come out? So Rashi and Tosfos both bring that there were people that were able to go ahead and be boiled without getting the blood. They were baki b'hatiyah. They were experts in hatiyah. Again, don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me if this guy's getting married for the first time. How he knows this? How he is an expert in this? I have no idea. But l'chayra, in other words, the bottom line is within the realm of our discussion. this not a psik ratio. In other words, I could go ahead, just like I can lift the chair up without making a charitz, who adin I could be boiled without bringing down. That's all we have to know. So what I did was I zustelled to you the exact case of the chair, of the bench, exactly to the case of the Bir Rishayna. So again, so if the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, that even like the tzad that nifked pocket, and even though the tzad that I need the blood, you still have a reason to be asa, because Davish ain't miskavin, because he's not miskavin to make a Pesach, but he is making a Pesach, and therefore it should be what? It should be asa. One more tzad, guys. This is classic Gemara. Classic Gemara. The imtim Sulaimar, halacha Rav Yehuda. Why he's going to say the halacha is like Rav Yehuda, guys? Why do we say in our hakdama, even like Rav Yehuda that says Davashem Miskavin is asa, if it's mekalkal, it's mutter. So now, if you're going to hold imtim Sulaimar halacha Rav Yehuda mekalkal hu leitza haPesach, creating a Pesach is a kilkal. Why is it a kilkal? Right? She's worth less now. Mekalkal. In other words, it's mekalkal who eitzel Pesach, or mitakin who eitzel Pesach. It's an act of kilkal or an act of tikkun. Guys, why would the tikkun be that she can have future bias without the basulim? What would the kilkal be that she's worth less, right? That she's worth less. That a woman who, when she's a basula, she's worth more money. So therefore, it's an act of what? Of kilkal by being mekalkal. Or no, do we say she's right from Wabias? So the Gemara's shaila is so difficult. We'll go through it again one more time. Good. So let's go through this shaila again. Outside. Let's go through it outside. Again, using every side of the akdama works nice. First, let's begin. Is it michbar or mifkat pocket? If it's chaburi michbar, meaning I'm going ahead and making a chabura, so therefore, right now we're holding, that's considered Netilas Shama, that's usher. You can't get married Friday night. If it's Mifkat Pocket, I could get married Friday night, perhaps. Why? Maybe I can't, right? Maybe I have a problem, right? What's the problem? If I need the dam, then it's not a problem. But if I don't need, if it's not the dam, but I need the Pesach, then the Pesach is Baina. And building is asr. And even if you're going to say you need the dam, it should be mutter, that would depend upon davish ein miskavin, because you are building a hole here. So if you hold like Rabbi Shimon, you're okay. If you like Rabbi Yehuda, you're not okay. But even if you hold like Rabbi Yehuda, maybe you are okay, because is going ahead and making her a non-basula, is it an act of kilkul? Reb Shimon would hold that it's an act of kilkul, it would be usr, because Reb Shimon says two cases of kilkul or asa, chayvel and mavir. This is the case of chayvel, a chavala, you're making a chavala, a wound in somebody. Well, no, those are the shilas. So that's the first way to look at it. The second way to look at it, guys, we're going to start from the beginning again, and we're going to say damis chaburi michbar, that you're making a chabura, and nonetheless, maybe it's mutter. So the first side, we went to the side mifkat pocket. The second side, we're going to the side chaburi nichbar. The ikedi amri, there are those who say, v'imtim soloimar dam chaburi michbar. You're going to tell me that when a man lives with a woman and he rips the basulim, that he's creating a chabura and it should be asras netilas neshama. L'dam hu tzarech v'asar. Aydilmo lahanos atzm hu tzarech v'shari. It's a davar shem miskaven. He was miskaven for his hano. He wasn't mechaven to make a chavala. In other words, we're skipping one step, right? Good. It's good, in fact, that he made a chabura. But nonetheless, he made a chabura. He wasn't mischaven for the chabura. He was mischaven for what? He was mischaven for his own hano. The imtim soloim lahanos atzmut tzarech v'dam melakasi halach Reb Yehuda that davar shem mischaven is asa halach Reb Shimon that it's mutter. The imtim soloim halach Reb Yehuda mekalkol b'chabura mitakim b'chabura hu. Intim Slam Mekalkal Chaburhu, the Mekalkal Halach Reb Yehuda, that all Kikulam Amutta, by Halach Reb Shimon, who says the Mekalkal Chabura will be chayiv when it comes to Chavala, or it comes to what, or it comes to Mavir. This is the Chavala. Those are the two tzaddim to the Shaila. and I leave you all well. And a grace and mazel tov to Leza Shaina, marrying off his daughter Kayla this evening to Simcha Apograd. She had Basuras Tayus by Alamin. Thank you for listening.